Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's MISys tips and tricks video. This week we want to look a little bit about the differences between process manufacturing and discrete manufacturing, and the differences in really the setups these two different types of manufacturing require. We'll focus on this video on a bill of materials setup. Let's go to our master files and let's take a look at two items. One of them we will look is a fluorescent desk lamp, which is really an item that comes from your sample company. And when we look at this, it's obvious if we're manufacturing lamps, this is a discrete manufacturing. And we have our bill of material here. And you'll notice that the detail type of the items are identified as standard. Now let's take a look at a process manufacturing item, intermediary 2001, which is a mixture. And when we look at the materials for this item's bill of material, we'll notice that the detail type is consumed. We want to explain you the difference between the standard and consumed, which is really the difference in the manufacturing side of process manufacturing and discrete manufacturing. So if we create a new manufacturing order and do this for our intermediary 2001, let's create this in our location one and create it for 960 pounds. Let's populate it from our bill of material from revision 0. We look at material. Here we see consumed. Here we see that the required quantities have populated from the bill of material. So if we wanted to build 960 pounds of this, the bill of material says you need this much of each of these quantities will be required to do this. So if we save this and release the manufacturing order, we know that in process manufacturing, when we actually run our manufacturing, we don't always get the exact quantity that we are looking for. There is a yield, whether it's a line loss or any other factors that affect this. The final quantity that we get at the end of our manufacturing process might be more or less than the ordered quantity. In this case, let's go with a little bit more. Maybe we've got 970 pounds. So we assemble it for 970 pounds. Uh, it'll give us a warning that we're completing it for more. And when we click yes, completed, let's assign real quick lot numbers here, save and close, and do that. I'll skip assigning the lot numbers to the ingredients so that we don't lose time, but normally, obviously, you would have to do that process. So when I close this, I know that I have now completed 970 pounds of this item. However, my required quantities, my used quantities did not change. It used exactly what was required for 960. That's what consume detail type does. The amount that is used does not change based on the manufacturing order's completion quantity. Whereas if we were to create now a new manufacturing order for our I-50 item, and let's do it again for location 5, and maybe let's build 100 of these items, and let's populate it from the bill of material. When we look at materials, the detail type is standard. Required quantities to build 100 of these are 400, 100, 200. Now let's save this manufacturing order, release it so we can complete it. Okay, so when we complete this manufacturing order, let's say that we built more. We built 105 and we assemble this. Again, we get the warning. We say yes. This is not a lot tracked item, so it didn't ask for lot numbers. So we can close this. Now, what you will notice here is that when you refresh, you'll notice required quantity was 400, completed quantity, meaning how much it used of each of these items, are more because it's prorated it based on what was the completed quantity. This is because the detail type is standard. This is a very important factor when you are setting your bill of materials up to make sure that your detail type of each item matches what you want in your process. and labor is very specific in there, that we need to determine whether labor will be a consumed item or a standard item. And in some cases within the same organization, it might be standard. Let's say for when you are doing finished goods in a process manufacturing facility, if you're packaging cookies, then your labor might end up being standard, because the more boxes of cookies you have, the more amount of labor you require. But when you're intermediary, when you're just mixing something for an hour, regardless of what the output ends up being, more or less than the order quantity, your labor might be consumed, because it doesn't change. It's always 1 hour. So these are, again, important factors to pay attention to when you are setting your bill of materials. I hope this helps you use MISys more effectively.